You give Stephanie the okay, and she puts out the call, and the other girls arrive in short fashion, with Gina being the first to arrive.
Well,
She's beginning to remind you of yourself when you first started to gain. Her chest and hips have become large and womanly.
so it appears that my experiences inside of VR have been affecting my appetite in real life like I suspected. My body remembers what I felt, despite it not being real, and I end up eating far more than I need to in attempts to relive those experiences. I should be worried, but I find this whole experience very interesting. I might start cataloging my experience so that it can be compiled into a research paper.
Shortly after Gina has settled in, Angie arrives, fashionably late as usual. Because Angie is so short, every pound that she puts on is super noticeable. She clearly is trying to flaunt her breasts still. And while they have gotten slightly larger, the majority of her gain is settling in her lower body, with her thighs stretching her tiny shorts to their limit.
Hey Aubrey, my eyes are up her buckle.
She says, flipping you off before breaking her faux anger.
PSSH, just kidding, look all ya want, I know ya like it.
Now that everyone is here, there is no time like the present to start session. When you come to, you find yourself looking up at a tall and imposing stone tower, flanked by multiple parapets, illuminated by a full moon. Your party has gained some notoriety after successfully retrieving the slime eggs. As a result, your group was selected to clear out an abandoned tower, rumored to have been the domain of a sorcerer of unknown origin. You have been tasked with exploring the tower for information and clearing out any traps or monsters held within. Now hop to it.
Huh, very gothic chic. Whoever this magic man was, he was either a freak, compensating for something, or both.
Angie looks up at you with a toothy grin.
Let me see if I can get us inside,
she says as she scampers across a small footbridge that leads to the courtyard of the tower.
So even though this tower is supposedly abandoned, I can still feel faint hints of magic coming from it. We should follow Angela quickly before she does something we might all regret.
Gina says, following after her.
Hey, come on, wait up. Rule number 1 is to never split the party, you both know that. Come on, Aubrey, let's go.
The air here feels stagnant. It's as if this whole area has been untouched for a very long time, and just by being here you are committing some kind of taboo. You instinctively draw your sword from its sheath, preparing yourself just in case.
Aubrey, do you think we could stick close together? This place is giving me a bit of the heebie-jeebies.
Stephanie saddles up next to you and grabs you by the hand. Now that you think of it, you don't recall Stephanie ever showing an affinity for horror. This does not come as a shock to you, as you can feel her hand tremble slightly in yours.
Of course.
You say, giving the back of her hand a gentle rub with your thumb. Gina's body has taken on a strong hourglass figure, now even fuller and more voluptuous than before. Her robes strain to contain her generously endowed chest, while her widened hips and thighs draw in many a lurking eye. The added weight enhances her already captivating beauty, giving her an enticingly lush figure. Her silver hair flows elegantly, framing her now plumper cheeks, and her red eyes gleam with an inviting warmth. Gina's presence exudes a confident, mature sensuality, each curve and contour adding to her irresistible charm.
This game's immersion is next level. It's like my body and mind are syncing with my character. These new curves, they're a reminder of just how real this virtual adventure is getting, both in and out of the game.
Angie's transformation continues as her goblin form takes on a softer, more voluptuous appearance. Her vibrant green skin remains striking, now complemented by a fuller figure where curves and softness are more pronounced. Her short blonde hair frames her face, which still holds that mischievous grin. Dressed in her familiar leather outfit, her added weight is evident in her rounded belly and thicker thighs, yet she carries it with the same confidence and boldness. Angie's playful yet defiant expression reveals her comfort and pride in her new body, ready for any adventure that comes her way.
You think a little extra chub is gonna slow me down? Think again.
As you and Stephanie catch up with the other two, you find Angie pulling on the large iron rings that dangle from a reinforced wooden door, which rattles loudly but does not budge.
No good, it's locked tight. Maybe there's another way in.
You look around the courtyard, and a few things catch your eyes. The massive door leading into the tower, barring your entry. You give the handle a tug, and it doesn't budge.
See, shut tighter than a nun's asshole.
Aren't you a thief? Can't you pick it or something?
Not this one from what I can tell. The mechanism keeping the door shut is magical. No amount of fiddling will get this thing open.
Standing on its own is a stone statue, its features draped in dark shadows from the moonlight. Upon closer inspection, you can see that the statue has a look of hunger on its face. Its tongue sticks out its mouth ravenously. Both of its fists balled up in front of it, elbows to its side. The bushes next to the door of the tower are unkempt and wild in comparison to the rest of the foliage in the courtyard. You decide to take a closer look and rummage through the bushes. Stephanie sees what you are doing and decides to give you a hand. You feel some twigs and branches scratch against your exposed belly, and it is hard to get a good look at the ground past your form, but you keep trying.
Hey, I found something.
Stephanie says, holding a small leather-bound notebook in hand, which she hands to you. At dawn's first light, your journey starts where the sun's embrace warms the heart and twilight's cloak. Where shadows play, seek the moon's gentle sway among the cosmic dance of night. Find the star that guides the flight, chase the comet's fleeting blaze, through its trail of fleeting haze finally, where the canvas is bare, the path is found in the empty air. Hey, it's actually me this time, so these are the puzzles, so let's solve them. First up is the wall of text that gives most people trouble. Jutting out from the tower at various points are tall stone archways, 5 of them in total.
These are definitely magical in some way. When I walk through them, it's almost like there is a film of the stuff that gets brushed out of the way as I do.
Gina says, her hand on her chin as she looks up.
The arches have symbols on them. Did you notice that? I wonder if they are connected.
Sure enough, you see some faint symbols carved into the arches on their keystones in the following order: a moon, a comet, one without a symbol, a sun, and a star. This is it, we just need to walk in the correct order under the arches. Here's how I understand the poem. At dawn's first light, sun's embrace warms the heart, so first we walk beneath the sun, so number 4. Next twilight's cloak, seek the moon's gentle sway, so it's moon or number 1. Find the star that guides the flight, so the star at number 5. Key the comet's fleeting blaze, the comet at number 2. And finally where the canvas is bare, the one with no symbol on 3. Oh, you write them all at once, NY bad. As you pass through the arch with no symbol, you hear stone against stone as multiple bricks shift, revealing a small alcove with a stone knife inside of it. Lined up along one of the walls of the tower, you find 6 torches, some lit and others not. You run your hand along one of the torches and find the tip to be grooved and will turn if twisted, almost like a dial. We have the image, so it's that order it seems. You hear a click and the sliding of stone as one of the bricks in the wall slides away. You look inside and find a stone fork resting with, which you take and add to your pouch. You hear a click and the sliding of stone as one of the bricks, the sound of slowly running water greets your ears as you approach the fountain in the courtyard.
Oh, look at that! I almost feel nostalgic.
You circle the fountain looking for anything out of place, and you notice a couple of indents on the marble base surrounding the fountain. You circle the fountain looking for anything out of place, and you notice a couple of indents on the marble base surrounding the fountain. The water completely drains from the fountain, and once it is dry, a stone slab slides away from the bottom of the fountain, revealing a stone bib. With a shrug, you add it to your inventory. You slot the stone knife into one of the statue's fists with a satisfying click. You slot the stone fork into one of the statue's fists with a satisfying click. You slot the stone bib around the neck of the statue with a satisfying click. With the last piece fitted to the statue, you hear a hum begin to emanate from it, starting low and slowly increasing in intensity until it reaches a crescendo before going silent. In the distance, you hear the distinct sound of something unlocking, followed by Angie yelling.
Whoa, hell yeah!
Asa Maximus level master range 500. Massa Maximus represents the pinnacle of weight alteration spells, requiring a completely mastery of the school of magic in order to perform properly, allowing the caster to increase the weight of the target by several hundred units, the upper limit only dictated only by the caster's mastery. To be used only in extreme measures, This spell can immobilize enemies and create significant physical alterations. Unlike most spells of this class, the effects are permanent unless reversed by a spell of similar level or from a specific antidote. Due to its potential ethical applications, it is heavily regulated and generally reserved for theoretical application or high-stakes conflict.
Whatever you did seems to have worked. Looks like we can get in no problem now. Figured you would want to take the lead since you did the lion's share of the work.
Upon entering the tower, atmosphere is oppressive. The light of the full moon streams in through windows, dousing everything in a silvery glow. Up above you is a crystal chandelier that reflects the moon's rays in a playful dance. The walls are lined with a few built-in bookcases, various tomes, ledgers, and scrolls littering their shelves. You were tasked with investigating. But if there does not seem to be anything blocking you from using the staircase to proceed to the next floor, if you were to so choose.
This place gives evil mastermind vibes and I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like someone named Jim who works at the DMV wouldn't live in a place like this.
Stephanie says, sticking close to you.
We need to watch each other's backs.
Always Steph scared of the dark. Needs her giant girlfriend to protect her. PSSH, some lonely weirdo locking themselves up in a dark tower. Sounds more like perpetually online neckbeard behavior more than Dr. Doom.
Angie says, strolling into the middle of the room, hands behind her head.
Well,
Gina interjects, being the voice of reason.
either way, we were warned that there might be traps, so we should try and take this seriously.
There are many books that line the walls of this first floor. You begin to scan them and are immediately overwhelmed. There is so much here that you can't even understand. Titles written in unknown languages or in arcane symbols that you find your character does not have the ability to comprehend. Gina can sense that your brain is burning, so she comes to aid you.
Are you having trouble, Aubrey? Maybe I could help.
That would be awesome. I was thinking maybe we could get some clues by checking out what this sorcerer was keeping in his personal library. But most of these books are unreadable.
You say, grabbing one of the books off the shelf that is covered in runes.
You can't read this? Interesting. It just looks like regular English to me. I would guess that it's because my character specializes in magic, so I must have learned this in the past. Anyway, let me take a look.
She grabs the book and flips through a few pages. Gina furrows her brow and sets the book aside before grabbing another, repeating the process a few times, going from confused to a look of slight disgust.
Many of these are collections of spells, lists of components and effects, and I am seeing a common trend. They all have something to do with body alteration, more specifically, creating and manipulating fat. It seems the previous owner of this tower had a unique obsession with it.
Yeah, that would be weird. Who would be into that?
You think to yourself. You find a text about magic. It is filled with various spells from different schools of magic, but there is a page that has been dog-eared for easy reference. Gravitas Incrementum, level intermediate, range 50. Gravitas Incrementum is an intermediate spell that enables the caster to induce a significant increase in weight. It is often utilized in more advanced magical studies, where understanding the effects of greater mass on living creatures is required. This spell is powerful enough to be used in practical applications, such as testing the strength of infrastructure. The effects of the spell typically last for 1 day, after which the added mass gradually dissipates.
Hey, that looks kinda expensive. I bet we could get some real dosh if we took it.
Angie says, rubbing her hands together.
I guess, but I don't know how important money is to us in this campaign. It seems like we are just going to be dropped into scenarios, and we deal with them as they come.
You say, watching the moonlight reflected onto the tower walls by the chandelier cut through the dust particles that hang in the air.
Listen, it is very shiny and that makes it widely appealing to me right now. My little goblin brain is going nuts. The lever is right over there. It will take no time.
She says, pointing to a crank in the wall that rests at about eye level for you, meaning that it is well out of her reach. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
You pull the lever down, and the clinking of mechanics kicks in as the chandelier begins to lower towards the ground. Angie scampers below it, raising her hands towards it and doing a quick succession of little hops.
Yes, come here, beautiful.
The crystals on the chandelier jingle as it is lowered, the light it reflects bouncing along with it, crawling along the wall and reaching the ground. A few bright dots appearing on Angie's skin, and as soon as that happens, you can see Angie slowly begin to swell. Weight begins to pile onto Angie at an alarming rate, her thighs widening and fighting against her boots. Her belt digging into the fat building on her belly, and the underside of her breasts bulging out of her top.
Angela, get out of the way.
Gina says, swinging her hand back with a flourish. Still not fully aware of what is happening to her, Angie jumps to the side. Her swelling slows once she is not directly under the light of the chandelier. Gina brings her arm whipping forward and a bolt of arcane energy shoots forth crashing into the chandelier, which knocks it loose of its chain, sending it into the ground with a thunderous crash.
Whoa, hey, why'd you do that, Doc?
Gina says, getting to her feet. Her extra rolls are covered in dirt from her spill to the ground.
Aren't you the one that is supposed to be on the lookout for traps? There was a spell placed on that chandelier. You're lucky that I noticed as soon as I did, otherwise you wouldn't have been going up those stairs with the rest of us.
Gina scolds.
Hey, let's just calm down for a sec. Angie made a mistake, it happens. Thank you, Gina, for being so quick to react. Let's just focus on the fact that everyone is okay. If getting chubby is the worst thing to happen in here, then we can live with that. Now come on, we should probably get moving.
Stephanie says, trying to remain as calm as possible, her words immediately diffusing the situation. She has a knack for that, you've noticed. You almost choke on all the dust that your party has kicked up when you entered the building. It clearly has been abandoned for a while. However, as you saw outside, the magic is still definitely active, so you make sure to walk with caution as you investigate. So my sense of vertigo was already out of shape because of being shorter. This room is not helping that at all. I get dizzy just from looking up, the ceiling is so high. A flight of stairs stretches before you in an intimidating fashion. For some reason, you feel somewhat uneasy about them, and not just because you worry that you won't necessarily be able to fit up them. You go to take a step up the stairs, only to feel your love handles press into the banisters from either side. You grab the underside of your belly and lift, and can find that you can bring your folds over the hand railings, but it takes much effort and is a slow process.
I don't think I should be the one taking the lead here. If something happens, I don't want to block the way. I can wait and provide support until you check the way.
Alright, let the expert take care of this. Scouting for traps is in my DNA or character sheet or whatever.
Angie begins scampering up the steps before anyone else can get a word in edgewise. Gina and Stephanie quickly follow after her.
Slow down. If you are going to scout for traps, then actually do it, Angela.
Gina says, giving chase. You can't help but watch the sway of her hips as she climbs the steps. Her robes billow and sway as they hang from her impressive backside. Stephanie follows closely behind, having to grab the pillars of the banister to help pull her along since she isn't tall enough to reach the hand railings comfortably. As they get about halfway up the stair, you feel a shiver run up your spine, and the taste of metal in your mouth as light begins to glow at Angela's feet. Magic circle crackles and buzzes with magical energy, and Angie's body begins to expand as a result. Her hips widen and begin to press into the sides of the banister, her face softens and her arms grow plump. As her belly begins to hang under its own weight, she stumbles back off the circle, and nearly bowls over the others standing behind her.
Okay.
Angie says, pulling herself up under her new weight, legs shaking under the extra effort.
So good news, guys, I found a trap.
Are you okay? You look like you're struggling a little.
Stephanie says, raising a comforting hand towards Angie.
Yeah, honestly, I think I'm feeling.
She turns around and hooks a thumb over her shoulder pointing to her butt.
Biggie. You know, like the emote, because of my ass. PSSH, whatever, you guys have no sense of humor.
Sai, I'll take care of this.
Gina says, bending over and placing a hand on the step that the magic circle was located. A second passes, and you can see a gust of air push out from where she placed her hand, a cloud of dust kicking up and the hem of her robes fluttering.
I've dispelled the circle. We should be okay to proceed.
As they reach the second floor, Stephanie calls down to you.
All right, Aubrey, coast is clear, you're good to go.
As you explore the second floor, you quickly learn that each door all lead to a single room that takes up all the space of the floor. A massive laboratory littered with books, vials, potions, and alchemical equipment, all haphazardly strewn throughout the room. No sense of organization or structure to anything. You get a headache just looking at it. Your head spins as you look around this lab. Shelf upon shelves of scrolls, ledges, potions, elixirs, minerals, flora, and more that you haven't seen before in your fake life. You see a lift leading out of the room, and you would like to try and get it working as soon as possible. You will probably need to look around and gather information if you want to get anywhere.
You know, I bet this room would have been really cool if it wasn't so. Ike, like between all the cool gems, plants, and cabinets, it wouldn't be out of place on Etsy. Very cottage witchcore, you know, though I guess that kinda checks now that I say it out loud.
Angie walks with unsteady steps, the surge in weight taking her off balance. She ends up lifting a leg slightly too high, which when combined with the hefty bound of her ass sends her sprawling backwards. With a heavy whack, she slams into the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust that billows out from her lick, a nuclear explosion.
Haha, I'm such a fucking fat-ass, holy hell. I am already bigger than Steph. If I get hit by any more of this perv magic, I'll probably blow past you too, Aubrey. Better watch yourself, I'm coming for the title.
You find a text about magic. It is filled with various spells from different schools of magic. But there is a page that has been dog-eared for easy reference. Pandero Cressier, level basic, range 10, Darocracier is the most fundamental spell within the corporeal alteration school of magic, primarily used by apprentice wizards to understand the basics of mass manipulation. When cast, this spell induces a minor increase in the body mass of the target. Ideal for educational purposes, it allows the caster to practice control over the spell's intensity and duration, ensuring a safe application. The weight gain is temporary, lasting only a few hours, making it suitable for harmless pranks or beginner practice. So on this floor, we have a little alchemy lab, and our goal is to make the essence of ascendancy. This allows one to transcend blah 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 haha no. First we are making the other page because is way more based. Okay, C2 go make yourself useful and display what I am doing so people can follow along at home. Finally, you get to do something that's not censorship, you better be happy. A cabinet filled with herbs, roots, and potted plants. Though, to your dismay, nothing is labeled, though there does appear to be a ledger that talks about the ingredients stored here. A collection of brief notes written in hasty scrawlings. Dew leaf, moist, sweet, how I like my ladies.
Ugh.
The leaves on this plant glisten with morning dew. Despite it being the middle of the night, and you're indoors, it has a mildly sweet fragrance. You pick some leaves, and set them on the alchemy table for use. Ember roots, actually tubers, red, great on chicken. This plant looks to be growing upside down somehow. Root jut from dirt that are a stunning red in color. They have a slight spicy smell to them. You make sure to avoid touching your eyes after handling them. A cabinet filled with various minerals and gems. Though, to your dismay, nothing is labeled, though there does appear to be a ledger that talks about the ingredients stored here. Crimson garnet, fire magic, heat resistant, soft enough to chew, a fiery red gemstone. You hesitantly prod it with a finger and find that despite its glow, it is not actually hot. You set it on the alchemy table for use. Eldritch crystal, dark, evil, knows my anxieties, an angular crystal that looks like trapped smoke. Holding it in your hand makes you feel uneasy. A cabinet filled with various liquids and powders. Though, to your dismay, nothing is labeled, though there does appear to be a ledger that talks about the ingredients stored here. Sunstone oil, strange color, citrus, warm use with FE for back pain relief. A bottle of vibrant green liquid, it feels slightly warm to the touch. It smells like a baseball game from your childhood, complete with big orange slices. You have the following ingredients: wet leaves, red root, fire gem, dark crystal, green liquid.
It looks like this is used for potion crafting and alchemy. Seems like this sorcerer was getting his fingers in all sorts of magic.
You made bulging brew.
What's that you got there?
Angie asks. She tries to swipe it from your hands, but can't get enough height to grab it out of your grasp, instead falling back onto her sizable backside.
Come on, gimme.
Are you sure? We don't know exactly what it will do.
You ask, giving her a concerned look.
All it said in the notes was that it was for guests.
Let's not play dumb here, Aubrey. If it is anything in this tower made by this wizard guy, then it's gonna make someone fatter. And I for one am willing to make the sacrifice to find out for certain. I'm already huge, might as well see how hard we can push the sliders in this game. I've gotta be pushing the max setting already anyway.
She says, holding her hands out and miming the action of grabbing the bottle. You can't deny that you don't want to see what would happen, and Angie seems all for it, so.
All right, knock yourself out, I guess.
You say, tossing the bottle to Angie. It has much cushioning as it lands on her big belly. Angie takes the cork of the bottle in her teeth and pulls it out, spitting it to the side, before sticking a finger into the bottle and dipping it slightly into the liquid. As she pulls the finger out, a glob of the liquid comes with it, a thin trail dragging behind it. She sticks the finger in the mouth and her pupils dilate. The second the liquid hits her tongue, you see her body expand out slightly as a surge of fat is added to her frame.
It's like if honey, ecstasy, and my uncrushed childhood ambitions had a rowdy threesome and this was the offspring.
She says before holding the bottle above her head, opening her mouth and tipping the entire thing over. As she lets the thick liquid slide down her throat, you can see her body getting fatter and fatter with each gulp. The effects are pronounced and instantaneous. Her hips and thighs explode in size, and her belly starts to bulge out as it hangs lower and lower. Unsurprisingly, she begins to outgrow her already taxed clothing. The boots split as the fat on her calves becomes too much to handle. The belt, already taxed to its limit, snaps as her belly begins to crawl along the ground, fighting for space between her pants' destroying thighs. Her breasts keep filling out, forcing their way out from the underside of her top, until a sudden surge causes the top to fail entirely, and her breasts fall with a heavy slap against the sides of her belly. With a final gulp, she finishes off the bottle and wipes the corners of her mouth with the back of her arm.
You know, if this is what this guy was cooking up here, he might not have been all that bad.
Angie's legs have given out on her. She can no longer pick herself up, the sudden explosion of weight having left her completely immobile. All that remains of her clothing is her cloak. Her now large breasts lay across the wide shelf of her blubbery gut, which is flanked by her absolutely massive legs and thighs. She gives you a smug grin and pumps a fist at you.
Told you I would take the title. Is this what you feel like all the time, Aubrey? Fucking wild stuff. That's hilarious. I was kind of expecting them to be censored in the game. Good to know they aren't. Anyway, I'll just chill here. I can't move anyway. Hopefully you guys can find a way to fix this. Haha.
Luminous essence, golden, smells like a bakery. Do not drink. A bottle of gold liquid. You pop off the lid and it smells faintly like honey and vanilla. You use your better judgment and choose not to drink it outright. Sunstone oil, strange color, citrus, warm use with FE for back pain relief. A bottle of vibrant green liquid. It feels slightly warm to the touch. It smells like a baseball game from your childhood, complete with big orange slices. Mystic crystals, bunches, sharp, emergency light source, a crystal comprised of many sharp points. A white light emanates from its core that spreads throughout the crystal. Its surface is quite smooth, so you have to be careful not to drop it. Sapphire dust, blue, granular, nose irritant. You pour a little on the table and it hangs in the air. The grains are extremely fine and shimmer brightly. Strangely aromatic. Frosted cool, circular, excellent anti-inflammatory, a plant where the leaves are perpetually tipped with frost. The air feels noticeably cooler around it. It smells crisp and minty. You have the following ingredients: gold liquid, green liquid, white crystal, blue dust, frozen leaves. You made essence of ascendancy. You take the vial of potion that you brewed and slot it into the hole. The runes lining the lift begin to glow with a faint blue light. It looks like the lift is primed to go. You place your hand on the pressure pad and press. The platform begins to rumble. The others quickly scramble to join you as it begins to rise. As the lift rises towards the top floor of the tower, your party is bathed in the glow of blue light that gets stronger the closer you get. Once you reach your destination, you find yourselves in a room illuminated by flickering blue candles and the light of the full moon radiating through a large stained glass window. Standing in the middle of the room is a figure cloaked in shadow in the middle of a glowing magic circle. Behind the figure is a large stone altar that almost reaches to the ceiling, with a similar magic circle standing above an arched opening into the spire, which seems to hold something glowing dimly. A few tense moments pass as you all look at the ominous figure, but for whatever reason, they do not seem to respond to your presence.
Maybe it is safe to look around.
Stephanie asks, her voice quivering slightly. This seat looks incredibly uncomfortable and would definitely not hold up under your weight. But you do find a book sitting on its cushion. You find a text about magic. It is filled with various spells from different schools of magic, but there is a page that has been dog-eared for easy reference. Corpulentia Vastatio, level advanced, Ramj 200. Corpulentia Vastatio is a complex and potent spell in the realm of transformation magic, used primarily by seasoned wizards. This spell can be cast on any living creature, causing a rapid and substantial increase in body weight. Due to its intensity and the stress it can cause to the target, it is advised to be used sparingly and with caution. The effects can last up to a week, making it a formidable tool in combat scenarios or as a deterrent. Practitioners must ensure they have consent when using it in non-hostile situations, due to its long-lasting and impactful nature. This final floor feels the most grandiose. The architecture is tall and sleek, climbing towards the stained glass ceiling. The whole room shimmers in the moonlight, and for the first time you can't help but think the place looks kinda pretty instead of dingy, and in need of a good scrub. Even you can feel the latent magic that hangs in the air here. Stephanie takes a seat in one of the ornamental chairs. You are sure that if she were at her full size it would crumple under her weight, but it merely groans as she plants her round little body in the chair.
This whole room makes me feel on edge. Thankfully it looks like this is the last room, so let's get this over with, please.
You stand before the large stone altar. Looking inside you can see that there is an unbelievably large gem. You reach a hand out to try and touch it, but no sooner than your finger coming into contact with the thin blue veil of light in front of it, does a sharp twinge of electricity shoot up your arm, causing you to flinch back in pain.
Be careful, that gem is protected by that magic circle. You won't be getting through that with brute force. We need to find a way to dispel it.
The person in the center of the magic circle is completely obscured by the cloak that they wear.
Hello?
You ask but you get no response. The magic circle crackles and hums. You notice the pattern of the circle is similar to the one on the altar. Cross the threshold of the circle, and boom, an explosive gust of wind forces you to take a step back, and causes the cloak of the mysterious figure to wave about wildly, the hood fall revealing the face of an ancient-looking older man. Strands of wispy white hair flow into a large beard. His eyes have a sickly yellow tinge to them and they bulge from his skull. As he begins to talk to you, you see that he has a pronounced underbite and is missing several teeth.
Intruders, state your purpose in the Tower of the Master.
His words echoes throughout the room, amplified like they had been pumped through a PA system. His voice is shrill and cracks regularly.
Wait, are you not the master?
You ask, you stand at the ready, you wait on your back foot, and your arm raised to unsheath your sword if necessary.
I am a facsimile. I am to guard the crowing treasure of the tower from anyone that is not the master or does not bear his approval.
Oh, well, the master sent us to come grab the gem in his place, since he can't do it himself.
You lie, trying to get through this without having to resort to violence.
Surely you must know that he hasn't been here for a long time. We are here on his behalf to get his jewel back to him.
The figure pauses for a few seconds, the magic circle glowing brighter for a few seconds before returning to normal.
I sense that someone is under the influence of the master's secret brew right now, yet he is not here, so it must have been your group that did that. Excellent, a fellow visionary.
He screeches.
Please forgive my rudeness. I should not have doubted a lady such as yourself who is overflowing with beauty. Allow me to drop the protective. If the master has requested the gem, then this tower's purpose must have already been served.
With a wave of his arm, the magic circle on the altar fades away, and along with it the protective barrier, leaving the large gemstone available for anyone to take.
Lady,
Man says with a bow before disappearing, the one word sending an unpleasant shiver up your spine. The magic barrier that was blocking off the gem has been dropped. You reach out and pick up the gem from its pedestal, and as soon as you do, the candles in the room all extinguish themselves. The tower seems to grow silent, with the magic circle in the center of the room that housed the sorcerer's simulacrum fading into nothingness. Ophelia's voice enters your head in this moment.
Having conquered the Tower of the Fatmasa, your party stands triumphant. The source of the tower's magic pulsing in the hands of Aubrey. A surge of magic courses through her as she wields its power. The extra weight that has been added to her party resonates within her, and she knows that she has the ability to manipulate their adipose with the aid of this magic gem.
Your vision begins to grow dark.
Using the gem, Aubrey is able to return her party to their original size, the return trip being a trivial matter now that the source of the tower's magic was in the party's control. With heads held high, they return to the Adventurers Guild, victorious in their mission, and ready to take on whatever task awaits them next.
You wake up back in your apartment. You feel exhausted, all the work you had to do in the tower hits you at this moment, and you slump in your chair.
Wow, good work everyone, especially you Aubrey. I definitely wouldn't have been able to handle that without you there.
Stephanie says, placing her hands on your shoulders and gives a gentle squeeze before heading into the kitchen and opening the cupboard.
God, I'm hungry.
She says, opening a bag of chips and shoving a handful into her mouth.
Man, it feels weird to be back in my own body. I feel so small all of a sudden.
Angie says, jumping to her feet, though she stumbles slightly.
Whoa, just got spots in my eyes. I'm feeling kinda lightheaded. I think I might need to eat too. Steph, think I could get some chips as well.
Oh, sorry, this is the last one. We are kinda running low on snacks at the moment.
Which you know to be a blatant lie, but it seems like Stephanie isn't in a sharing mood this evening. Sounds like you might have your hands full later.
It's fine. I'll go and grab some grub. What about you, Doc?
Gina stands up and stretches, arching her back and pushing out her chest. Angie dog whistles at her, which Gina just ignores.
I was so engrossed in the game that I didn't even realize just how famished I was. I'll join you, Angela. What are you thinking we should get?
Angie and Gina gather their belongings and make their way to leave.
Thank you for hosting Stephanie and Aubrey. It was a lot of fun. I am very curious to see what happens next.
Gina says with a soft smile and friendly wave.
I was thinking we could get a burger from this local place that I know about, but I don't know if that will be quite enough, so I was thinking that we could get some street tacos on the way.
Angie's voice trails off as the two of them walk down the hallway, and you close the door. Stephanie tips the remainder of the bag of chips that she was eating into her mouth, before tossing it into the trash and reaching into the cupboard and grabbing a second one.
So what is going to happen next time, Ophelia?
She asks, ripping the bag open and popping a single chip into her mouth. The fairy looks up to Stephanie from her spot on the table.
Why would I tell you that? That would ruin the surprise for next time. I have to admit, I was kind of hoping that you would fail, but I am impressed that you were able to get through the puzzles I had laid out for you, all while still being able to stand.
Your belief in us is truly boundless.
Say sarcastically. As Stephanie works her way through her second bag of chips, your mind can't help but wander towards what you saw within the tower, watching waistlines expand, and thinking about how much work it took for you to do, only for it to happen in a scant few seconds. Even though it wasn't actually real, you can't help but feel a little annoyed. and your stomach responds in kind, not wanting to be outdone.
Could you grab me a bag of chips as well?
That is a good-looking potion that you brewed, Aubrey. What does it do?
Gina says, standing over your shoulder, a curious look plastered on her face.
I'm not 100 sure actually. It's called Bulging Brew, and all it said next to it was for guests. But if what we've learned about this place is any kind of clue, it probably has something to do with making people fat.
It is likely the case, yes, but perhaps it is something beneficial instead. I would hate for it to turn out that we need it for something later on in the tower and we just dismissed it, rather than not taking the risk and finding out what it does.
Gina is trying to sound as impartial about the situation as she can, but you see how she is looking at the bottle. You recognize that look very well at this point. There's a hunger in her eyes, a wanting, a need to find out what it would be like if her hips were a little wider, her bust a little fuller, and an opportunity to do just that has presented itself. You would be doing both of you a disservice to deny her. You hold the bottle out to Gina.
If you want to try it, then be my guest.
She gives you a curt nod and takes the bottle in hand and twists off the cork. She brings the open bottle to her nose and sniffs.
Well, it certainly smells good, almost like honey.
She brings the bottle to her lips and slowly tips it, the potion slowly creeping down the sides of the bottle, thick as molasses. The moment it hits her lips and she takes her first sip, her eyes get wide and she pulls the bottle back.
Wow, I don't know what I was expecting, but this might be one of the best things I've ever tasted.
She says, smacking her lips, and even though the amount that she consumed was minuscule, you can see the slightest shift in her robes as her breasts go up a cup size, and her thighs grow slightly thicker.
Well, I think we can safely say.
You begin, but you are caught off guard mid-sentence as Gina brings the drink back to her lips and begins to pound it back in greedy gulps. Each mouthful causes a surge in weight to flow through her body. Her billowing sapphire robes try their best to mask the weight, but it is undeniable. Breasts slosh, jiggle, and expand before your eyes, each mouthful of potion causing them to surge through the alphabet of cup sizes. As they continue to hang further and further off of her frame, it pulls the hem of her robes higher and higher. The fabric that was once loose around her middle gets pulled taut against her belly and hips as she grows wider.
We know what the potion does now.
Gina licks the remnants of the potion out of the neck of the bottle before lowering the potion, her breathing labored. Her eyes refocus on you and she stifles a belch.
I don't know what came over me. Every inch of my body was screaming for me to finish that potion as soon as I tasted it. I couldn't stop myself.
She looks down at herself and a soft blush breaches her cheeks.
I guess this is the price I pay for my curiosity.
Gina knocks over a stack of books with her hip as she explores. She lets out an annoyed sigh.
I need to be more careful. There is no excuse for me to get caught up in these traps if I actually focus. I have no one to blame for all this fat besides myself.
She places her hands on her hips, and a flustered look crosses her face.
Wow, that's more than I thought. I'll take the lead. I feel like I'm the most qualified to deal with what this place has going on.
Gina says, running her hand along the banister as she begins to climb the steps. Angie and Stephanie follow close behind her. Both Angie and Stephanie are too short to reach the handrail comfortably, so they grab onto the posts one by one as they climb. You can't help but think it is a little cute. Stephanie looking quite round with the shorter stature. It contrasts nicely with Angie, whose weight rests mostly below the belt, her meaty thighs rippling as she climbs each step. As they get about halfway up the stair, you feel a shiver run up your spine, and the taste of metal in your mouth as light begins to glow at Gina's feet. Magic circle crackles and buzzes with magical energy, and Gina's body begins to expand as a result. Her hips widen and begin to press into the sides of the banister, her face softens and her arms grow plump. As her belly begins to hang under its own weight, she stumbles back off the circle and nearly bowls over the others standing behind her. Gina grabs the banister and straightens herself, clearly upset with what just happened.
I'm so embarrassed right now. What kind of magic user am I to get caught up in something as simple that trap?
There is a lot of magic stuff in here. Maybe it makes it hard to read things properly.
Stephanie says, placing a calming hand on Gina's hand, trying to console her.
Yeah, it's all good, Doc. Everyone is prone to fucking up now and then. Besides, you looking hella thick, so it's not even a bad thing.
I'll take care of this.
Gina says, bending over and placing a hand on the step that the magic circle was located. A second passes, and you can see a gust of air push out from where she placed her hand, a cloud of dust kicking up and the hem of her robes fluttering.
I've dispelled the circle. We should be okay to proceed.
As they reach the second floor, Stephanie calls down to you.
All right, Aubrey, coast is clear, you're good to go.
Herukaya, oh god.
Gina has to take frequent breaks as you explore, running out of breath after only a few moments of exertion and needing to soothe her rumbling stomach. Her body jiggles wildly as she moves, since her body is composed mostly of magically induced adipose, not having a chance to develop muscle to support all the weight. It is no wonder to you that she is struggling.
Oh, well, the master sent us to come grab the gem in his place, since he can't do it himself.
You lie, trying to get through this without having to resort to violence.
Surely you must know that he hasn't been here for a long time. We are here on his behalf to get his jewel back to him.
Well, you certainly seem the type that would draw that master's favor.
You can actually feel this guy's eyes looking over your body.
However, I can't trust you just on your word alone. You must prove yourself.
He screeches, his arms raised above his head.
I will be asking you a series of questions, answer them all correctly, and I will know that you are someone who the master would trust. Answer wrong, however, and you might find leaving this tower to be an impossible task for your party. Question 1. What color of potion wasn't part of the master's collection? Wrong.
The man yells, spittle flying from his mouth. He points a gnarled finger at Angie, and a bolt of sickly green energy shoots at Angie, hitting her square in the chest, causing her to almost double in weight instantly.
PSSH that all you got Chrome Dome, I could do this all day. Keep trying, Aubrey.
Wrong.
The man yells, spittle flying from his mouth. He points a gnarled finger at Angie, and a bolt of sickly green energy shoots at Angie, hitting her square in the chest, causing her to almost double in weight instantly. Angie falls flat on her ass.
This is nothing, your game is weak, old man. I can take more, Aubrey, no worries.
Correct, well done. Question 2. What was not one of the stone items needed to enter this tower? Question 3. Which arch symbol was the one that you had to cross under last in order to gain access to its secret? Question 4. Who of your party members is currently the heaviest?
Aubrey, as much as I want to tell you I could take another one of those, it's getting pretty hard to breathe with these meat sacks on my chest. I've got to tap out.
Correct, well done. Final question. Can you order these spell in order from most powerful to least powerful?
Pandero crescer, gravitas incrementum, corpulentia vastatio, massa maximus.
It's okay, Aubrey. I am sure we can find a way to undo this. I am still in this, so keep trying.
Pandero crescer, corpulentia vastatio, gravitas incrementum, massa maximus. Gina's hips are now wider than she is tall, and she collapses to the ground.
Another immobile beauty added to the collection.
The sorcerer's simulacrum gleefully cackles, clapping his hands together.
Keep calm, Aubrey, you can do this. Don't worry about me.
Wrong.
The man yells, spittle flying from his mouth.
Your turn.
He exclaims, pointing a finger at Stephanie, who lets out a little yelp as the magic hits her. The magic courses through her body, and her top splits open explosively as her belly tumbles forward, rippling with fat as it grows larger and larger, dragging her to the ground. She pushes herself up so that she can meet your eyes as she lays on top of her beanbag-sized belly.
It's down to you, Aubrey. Don't give up. I believe in you.
Wrong.
All your other party members immobilize. The figure turns his finger on you, and you are blasted by the fattening magic. Instantly, you can feel yourself blowing up in size. The straps struggling to hold your armor in place begin to snap one by one as your limbs fill in size. The plate mail falling to the ground and clattering loudly, until you are left in just some forfeiting fabric around your torso and legs. Your belly, already your most prominent feature, grows even larger, each passing second making it heavier and heavier, until eventually your strength gives out, and you fall to the ground in a heap of swelling, jiggling fat. The sorcerer cackles wildly at his handiwork.
Ahaha, the master would be truly proud of the work that I have done here today. Trespassers will think twice before trying to get past me. Now you all can sit there and contemplate your choices as you wait for the master to return.
With that, the guardian of the tower pulls his hood up once again and returns to his silent state, waiting for the next group of adventurers to make the same mistake that you did. You look over at Stephanie and say,
Sorry.
And at that moment, the familiar voice of Ophelia begins to echo in your head once more.
Well, humans, it looks as if you got in over your head with this mission.
Your vision begins to go black as Ophelia continues to narrate.
Party, having been reduced to such a sorry state by the magic of the sorcerer, had no choice but to wait. Whether it be for the magic on them to dissipate, or for rescue, they sat, bodies trapped by their own incompetence and corpulence. However, no help came, and as they fell asleep due to exhaustion, they did not realize just what would be waiting for them when they awoke.
Your eyes shoot open and you are back in your apartment. You begin patting your body, checking to make sure that you are your regular level of fat. You see the other girls doing much the same.
What the hell does that mean? So are we dead? Do we have to start over?
Angie asks, clearly not a fan of losing.
I don't think so. From the sounds of it, there is going to be something waiting for us as a result of what happened in the tower. It sounds like it is just set up for our next session. Honestly, I'm excited to see what comes next.
You're too positive, Doc. I'm pissed off. How are we supposed to remember all those questions? Gaia, and I'm starving. Come on, I need to drown this anger with a double cheeseburger.
Angie pushes herself from the table, and her chair scraps loudly against the kitchen floor as she stands up.
Honestly, that does sound like it will hit the spot. Thanks again for hosting Stephanie and Aubrey. It was a fun time, regardless of the results. I'm looking forward to next time.
Gina says, giving you a soft smile and a friendly wave. The growling of both women's stomachs can be heard all the way up until they close the apartment door behind them.
That was wild, though I have to admit, the getting really fat part is a lot less fun when eating isn't involved. It feels, I dunno, cheap. I like earning it.
She says, standing and walking to the cupboard to grab a bag of potato chips.
So what is going to happen next time, Ophelia?
She asks, ripping the bag open and popping a single chip into her mouth. The fairy looks up to Stephanie from her spot on the table.
Why would I tell you that? That would ruin the surprise for next time. I had this planned out in case your party failed this mission, but I honestly did not expect it to happen. Even though I would like to say it is, because you humans are hopelessly lost without my guidance, I have to be fair and admit that your roles were all around abysmal, so I will refrain from mocking you too hard.
Oh gee, thanks.
Say, while you keep rubbing your belly. You can so vividly remember the sensation of being filled with fat, the way the stone floor felt on the underside of your belly as it grew out in front of you. The way your chest doubled in size and pressed heavily against your ribcage. The way you could feel yourself rising slightly higher off the ground as your ass ballooned in size while sitting on it. You can feel yourself getting aroused and wonder if you will ever actually get to that size on your own. Your stomach rumbles and you look over at Stephanie.
Could you grab me a bag of chips as well?
Correct. I am convinced that you are who you say you are. I will drop the barrier as you requested. I am glad to see that the master has not lost his immaculate taste in women.
With a wave of his arm, the magic circle on the altar fades away, and along with it the protective barrier, leaving the large gemstone available for anyone to take.
Lady.
Man says with a bow before disappearing, the one word sending an unpleasant shiver up your spine. You reach out and pick up the gem from its pedestal, and as soon as you do, the candles in the room all extinguish themselves. The tower seems to grow silent, with the magic circle in the center of the room that housed the sorcerer's simulacrum fading into nothingness. Ophelia's voice enters your head in this moment.
Having conquered the Tower of the Fatmasa, your party stands triumphant. The source of the tower's magic pulsing in the hands of Aubrey. A surge of magic courses through her as she wields its power. The extra weight that has been added to her party resonates within her, and she knows that she has the ability to manipulate their adipose with the aid of this magic gem. She takes the time to undo the spells cast on her part.
Hey, whoa. Quiet with the railroading for a second, Miss Disembodied Voice.
Angie interrupts. She makes eye contact with you over her bare chest, which is obscuring most of her face from view.
Before we quit this session and hand in this gem and off-screen or whatever, why don't we make use of this super magical item while we have the chance?
Oh, do you have something in mind, Ang?
Stephanie asks.
If you can do fat bending, then why not have some fun with it? Make me huge.
She says, pumping her fists in the air with each word she yells, causing her body to jiggle with each pump.
You're already ground-bound, don't you think that's big enough?
You ask, the gem rumbling in your hand.
Dude, it's magic and it's make-believe. Let's get crazy with it.
Sure, why not? Let's have some fun. If this game is going to give us free reign of something like this, we should limit test it, for quality assurance.
You say. Stephanie stifles a giggle, and you hear Ophelia's voice ring in your head.
You're going to regret this.
She asked, you just think more as you pull the magical trigger another time. Though this time the magic feels unwieldy, it builds much faster, and before you can make the choice, the spell is set loose on Angie, whose whole body begins to swell. Her belly crawls along the stone floor of the tower, her breasts grow larger and begin to sag to the ground, and her ass and legs push out further and climb higher. Soon her head is higher than yours as it is pushed up by her growing body.
Oh hell yeah. You wouldn't believe how good this feels, Aubrey. Maybe you can get Doc in on this as well. I would love to see what she would look like.
Angie cackles as she continues to swell. You can hear the crunching of wood as one of her hips bowls over one of the ornamental chairs and crushes it under its mass, before it begins to press against the stone walls of the tower.
Wow, you weren't kidding around with this spell, huh? This is way more than the first 2 times. Keep going though, this feels amazing.
Begin to grow worried as her growth doesn't show any signs of slowing. You and Stephanie all have to move towards the lift because Angie continues to fill the room. Eventually her other hip begins to press into the opposing wall. You can't see Angie anymore, just a wall of flesh that is slowly growing closer and higher.
Okay, you can probably think about stopping now, Aubrey. It's starting to get a bit cramped in her.
If I knew how I would, but I'm not really in control here, I don't think.
Wait, what?
Angie yells, panic beginning to form.
Listen, I know I said that we should get rowdy, but I'm beginning to think that there might be a limit to that. I can't see anything besides my own tits, but I can feel the walls closing in on me, and that stone altar starting to become really friendly with backside, if you know what I mean.
Maybe we should get out of here. She's getting awfully close and there isn't much room left.
Stephanie asks, staring up at the green blob that is Angie's encroaching belly. You are about to agree with Stephanie, but the gem in your hand begins to rumble with magic power once more.
Oh shit.
As if it has a mind of its own, the gem releases another blast of magic that hits into the obvious target, and a deep guttural roar comes from Angie's body.
Oh god, here it comes.
Angie yells as her body doubles in size instantly. Both you and Steph are instantly swept off your feet by the incoming wave of fat that slams you into the wall behind you, Angie now completely filling up the top floor of the tower. But you can feel as her body keeps putting more pressure on you as she keeps growing. You can only hear muffled noises as all sound is blocked out by the massively fat goblin. You find that you can't breathe, and soon everything becomes blurry and your vision goes black.
Having chosen to try and wield the power of the Fatmiser for themselves, the party finds themselves trapped under the weight of their own choices, as well as the titanic gut of their foolish rogue. Without anyone to save them, or put an end to the spell cast on Angela, the party succumbs as the tower eventually collapses under the weight of Goblin. Soon their story becomes just a whispered tale to warn others to avoid the unidentified green mass that one day took the place of the old sorceress tower.
Greedy goblin ending. Yo, did you like the new big aspirations? This is about the halfway point. There will be 3 more videos on the D&D stuff, and the next one is on Patreon right now, actually out early for the supporters. Also, I am working on my own image sets now, and you can find that too. Thank you to the supporters. Zephiel, Cornchip, Anarchy, D-Boy, Wiggins, Oz, Justai, Alex, Glitch, Kevin, Luigi, Lewis, Fen, Belly Lover, Error, and Bill.